For sure. So the client was a traditional, corporation that had a few offices around the country, right? And
where are the offices? Where are those offices? Yeah,
so
that's important.
So there's one in Northern California, San Jose. There's one in Austin, Texas, and one in New York City. And what their corporate office is located in New York City.
New York City. You said one more.
San Jose, California.
Okay. So what about, are they doing any cloud?
They do have some services in the cloud. Their cloud connectivity is through AWS. They're hosting in AWS, and they're hosting their accounting software. Say that again?
Are they in Ashburn?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are the issues that they're experiencing?
So what they realized is when everyone went to work from home, they're working through the VPN. And it seems that they're having performance issues as far as the ability to maintain normal operations because there's delays in being able to either access the VPN or process information through that tunnel.
Yeah. What kind of network did they have when everyone was in the office?
So they had an MPLS network that connected to the data center and the corporate office, and then they accessed the cloud through the AWS servers in Ashburn.
Okay, so this is all MPLS today, and then they bring, I assume, AWS into that MPLS cloud. And this is an office, this is an office, this is an office. But their HQ and data center are all in San Jose?
No, their HQ is actually in New York.
Is where?
New York City.
Oh, okay, it's in New York. Okay. This is HQ. And that's where the servers are.
Their largest office is in San Jose. That may be the confusion.
Okay. And that's where most of the folks are working from home?
Correct.
It's in San Jose. Okay, gotcha. So these folks have now kind of migrated off the traditional LAN, right? That LAN was usually connected to an MPLS connection, and that was where they're getting their applications from New York, from AWS, wherever they have servers or cloud subscriptions. The most common challenges are this: either A, they have bottlenecks as these users have to now come all the way back to HQ to terminate the VPN IPsec tunnels, right? They're all traversing over the internet now. And in the past, they were traversing over a private MPLS network. So this MPLS network made them feel like they were in the same offices where that print server or ERP platform was, right? But they may not have realized that they weren't, right? As a user, you really don't care where you get your applications. The reality is that wide area network has changed drastically, and the geography is also now expanded drastically from a topology standpoint, right? So they have IPsec tunnels set up as failover. Usually that's great for one or two instances, or if you have like a small remote workforce that's traveling all over the country. But if you have power users, people that are accessing databases, applications all the time, and now they're working from home, they're all working over the internet. And now they're encrypting that traffic, which can already cause some latency and delay. That's just inherent in IPsec tunneling. And as they do that, they're going to experience this performance issue, right? Now, when they get to New York, if that's where their gateway is, their VPN concentrator, what we find is that a lot of clients had non-symmetrical internet they subscribed to like a big, broadband connection because they were getting a gig from the local, fiber cable company, right? Which is great when you're in the office and you're just, going outbound. But now the challenge we have is that everyone's trying to terminate tunnels on this inbound connection. And that circuit's not set up for that, right? And they can't get to their MPLS network to do the trick either, right? So let's say they get in. Once they get in, now most companies are going to route them over the MPLS network and into AWS or, into the servers that they need in New York. And everything should work fine, but the problems all occur here, right? This geography is vast, and then you have all the other issues we discussed, right? So
right.
Here's what's cool about some of the products that we're selling and the way remote worker architecture is changing. We can set up sort of a proxy that hosts all of these applications in the cloud and all of the applications that are in your private server room or you host at a data center. And we can make them look geographically near. And the way that we do that is, number one, we publish those in a proxy, right? So single sign-on access, fully secure. We're not using IPsec tunnels. We're using SSL or TLS, right? And then
yes,
we're doing that over a CDN architecture, content distributed network, right? And if you think about caching, right, those providers that excelled in that product set are also in the VPN or enterprise access product portfolio. So we look at those providers and we say, okay, what's the huge advantage that they have? Not only can they authenticate users and get you onto your network privately, very securely, they can also increase the reach, right, of your network by bringing this AWS instance and virtualizing that, or bringing this instance and virtualizing that to a POP that they have that's right here, right, close to these workers. So
I can.
All right. So what I was saying is a CDN network is going to distribute those applications, right? So public and private applications that were distance sensitive, let's say, and all networking is to some degree distance sensitive, are now still going to be available over a home internet connection, right? Only it's going to feel like you're on the LAN because that application is going to be distributed to a nearby POP, right? So that POP ideally is going to be, they may have 3 or 4 in multiple neighborhoods in Southern California, right? Versus you doing an IPsec tunnel all the way back to an already congested internet circuit. And look, right now you may want to order a new circuit, a dedicated circuit, but it's hard to justify when no one's in the office. And it might take you 3 months. So the most immediate solution, these can be set up in an hour, literally. All your applications can be set up in an hour. There's a few different providers that we use. I mentioned Akamai, but there's a few others like Cloudflare that have a great product. And what we do is, we'll go through a series of questions with the customer. We'll look at, what kind of applications are critical to different users. Each user is going to be able to only access the applications that they need. They do not need to go into a firewall. They do not need to enter the company's network. That's why it can be set up so quickly. And then they'll have a single sign-on for all of their access to the applications that they need, whether it's a cloud-based app in Azure, AWS, et cetera, or it's a corporate private app like a ERP platform, right?
Okay.
I think the main sensitivity here is what you're describing is the geography, the dispersing of the applications across vast geography, and then both the congestion of bandwidth. You're hitting a bandwidth restriction, and that's ultimately going to be a challenge when you go from 15 salespeople on the road using our VPN tunnels to 500 people across our network working from home, right? That's really what I think is probably the issue. So we probably want to set up a call and then just talk about, more detail about their applications, their user base, and the experience. And I bet you